if you think of yourself as the lowest employee, you're going to be the lowest employee.
Say that
again.
What I
mean? If you think of yourself as the lowest employee, you're going to be the lowest employee.
Good,
if you think of yourself as the CEO, you're going to be the CEO. It's mindset.
Good, ma'am.
It's mindset. You know what I mean? It's mindset. I don't care how much you pay. I don't care if you pay me $8 an hour. I don't care if you pay me 6 figures. The type of person that I am when I walk in there, you're going to be paying me what I want when I leave. That's it.
Public service announcement. Passionate. Let me tell you something.
So what is this Passion PSA Podcast? Who am I? Well, they call me Passion, short for passion, no last necessary. Why is there no last name necessary? Because the first name says it all. I am Passion and all that embodies. What do I do here? I give you the life coaching that you know you need, but don't enroll yourself in. When did I start? Actually, 2017. I'd leave a PSA on my Instagram regarding something I'd observed, and now we've evolved to this. Why do I do it? Why not? If even one person is able to take away one thing that changes their life, someone else's life, or changes the world for the better, then I've done what I was charged to do. So come on in, sit and listen for a while. There's something here for everyone at the Passion PSA Podcast.
Greetings and salutations, my beloved passionate newcomers, visitors, and guests. Welcome to a very special edition of the Passion PSA Podcast, where I, Passion No Last Necessary, your Get You Right Guru, issue a weekly public service announcement about whatever I have observed or was on my mind. This is a for-your consideration zone where the objective is to offer you a perspective you may not have previously considered to A, expand your thinking, and B, aid you in becoming a better version of yourself for yourself and for others. This is a safe space, but not necessarily delicate one. I'll never rob you of your right to feel what you feel, same way I will not sugarcoat it for you. I'll never rob you of your right to feel what you feel, same way I won't sugarcoat it. I'll never rob you of your right to feel what you feel, same way I won't sugarcoat the truth to make it more palatable. The goal is to get you to higher, more expanded thinking and aid you in becoming. The goal is to get you to higher, more expanded. The goal is to get you to higher, more expanded thinking and aid you in becoming the best version of yourself. If you are new here, affirmations are usually our first order of business before we get the episode started, so that no matter what we discuss and how it may make you feel, we've started on the highest possible vibration and the same frequency. Today we're not going to do affirmations, so all these sounds that you're hearing in the background, I am actually in Mexico. Yesterday was my birthday, and so April 18th, that was my birthday. And what ended up happening is that we shot an impromptu episode. I was having a conversation, and I said, you know what, let's just record. And it ended up turning into a full episode. So I'm going to share that with you, and I'll also share with you some of this exquisite experience that I've had while out here in Mexico. I could not have chosen to celebrate my birthday any better. I'm really, really grateful, because last year my birthday was trash. The year before that was lit though, and the year before that, even during the whole panorama, because y'all don't know, I bought a pool and I set it up in my house, and I had a pool party. Since Jamaica closed its borders, I was going to bring Jamaica to me, but this time I didn't have to bring the country to me. I was able to go to the country, and what an experience it has been. So I'm not going to sit here much longer. I just wanted to let you know that I didn't forget about you even while I was out of town. So without further ado, I'm going to cut to the conversation that I was having with my sis, my business partner, one of my business partners, LeDrane Overstreet, and talk to you a little bit about what she does, what she's bringing to the table, and give you a little bit of insight on how to better yourself, okay? Enjoy the episode. I love y'all so much. And all things be passionate.
I can remember sitting at home and looking on like Cheap Caribbean and different sites, and just like even like Expedia, Velocity, and looking at like the vacations that I wanted to have, but also looking at the dollar amount and being like, well, maybe down the line. You know what I'm saying? So what was it that made you make the shift from, living, a normal life with just whatever about credit to actually wanting to get more serious about the credit and travel more and, things like that? What made you make that shift? So in truth, some of it was embarrassment. I feel like I'm at an age where I should have done more living. And so I had to get from the place of I should have done more, I should have done different, I could have had more, to, okay, you still can, get going.
Right.
There's no reason for me to be lamenting. Like, yeah, have I made bad decisions? Too many to count.
Right.
But is there still time to make better decisions?
Exactly.
Yes.
Time's not over until you die.
That's
so
it.
And like, you're only as young as you feel. So
That's it. And I always feel like I'm 5.
Exactly. So hey, if you feel like you're 5, you're 5.
Right.
Period.
I am the tallest 5-year-old there
Exactly.
is.
It's
So
all in your mind. Time is all in your mind. So I agree with that completely. Yeah.
I wanted to live the life. Like, I don't want to be that person who's looking at other people living the life on Instagram and being like, oh, that looks dope. Oh, I wish I could do that. Like, I want to be living these experiences. There's so much world out there, and people really limit themselves. Like, you from New York, you from the Bronx, and you act like you did something because you went to Jersey.
So I get exactly what you mean, and honestly, being in New York, when I spent some time in New York, that actually showed me a lot of things, because I met people in Brooklyn that had never been to the Bronx. And I'm like, what do you mean you ain't never been to the Bronx? I got everything I need in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? And even like where I'm from, like, it's a lot of people that's never left my hometown.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
There are
But
people who never go further than
they
10
don't
blocks
go
in any
anywhere.
direction.
But when I seen that, I'm like, that's never going to be me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's like the world is so big. So I've
they
known
never-
people in my neighborhood that's never been outside of, the county or the state, I've seen people when I lived in New York for a while that, like born and raised in Brooklyn, never been to the Bronx. And I'm like, it's just a few boroughs over, But I always said I don't want that to be me, because it's a big world out there, and I want to see everything that, and I know everybody, it's a lot of excuses all the time when it comes to people in traveling. So one of my excuses that I had to take care of is I can't because I have a job, so it's like now I have a remote job, and that's something that I deeply had to pray on. I want a remote job. I want a job that's going to pay me enough to travel, and that's going to be okay with me traveling and take as much vacation as I want to. Those are my things. And a lot of people, that would sound like that's impossible. Like, I need this type of degree. First of all, I don't have a degree. You feel me? I don't have a degree. That's number one. Okay? So yes, I make 6 figures with 0 degree, right? And you can do that. And a lot of people think you can't, but nowadays, especially as a recruiter,
Mother Scooter,
it moved.
over there taking shots of the sky.
So especially,
Hold on.
I'm saying, degree. So I got into my field, and I moved up within my field and got to making a 6-figure position with no degree. And as a recruiter, it dawned on me that's like a lot of the positions that we get, or a lot of the companies that we get, they're more so worried about experience over degree. You know what I mean? So I've personally seen and handed jobs to people that have no degree but have experience over people that have a master's degree, but have no experience. You know what I mean? So that is one of the reasons what made me decide to write my book, 6 Steps to 6 Figures, because it's really for people who are stuck in this hourly position and feel that they can't get to that type of salary position. And in there, I even say, like, when you're going to these interviews and you're going to, in your plan, even when you're planning, you want to make sure that you have your stipulations down. So when I started searching for another position, I was a branch manager at, I'm not going to say the name, but I was a branch manager at a well-known staffing agency, right? And I was in a very good position. I had my own branch, like they really weren't pressed on the times that I came in, times that I came out, like things like that. However, I didn't feel like it was pushing me. And I also didn't like the fact that it was an in-office position. I had to be in office. So I started looking for another position, And when I started looking, I wrote down the things that I need and what I'm flexible on, So the things that I need is, this has to be a 6-figure salary. This has to be a remote position. This has to be flexible enough to where if I wanted to take a week vacation, I can take a 2-3 week vacation. Nobody's bothering me. Right. I need management to be somebody that, I can be right here with and understand. And when I tell you, like, I landed that job, like, within less than probably about I'll say a little over a month. It was less than 2 months, maybe a little over a month. I just start putting in for just what that is. Just that. I want this, that, boom. It has that. Cool. Okay, I'm applying. You know what I mean? And I make sure that I tailor my resume to the position that I was looking for. Got a call back, killed the interview. I mean, killed the interview to the point where the position that I interviewed for was already taken, but they created another position that also had a lot less work involved with it for me with the same salary. Nothing but God,
right.
you know? So
let me ask you something. Did you write everything down?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I wrote it down. I wrote down what my salary range I needed, how flexible I was with that salary. Okay, if I can't hit, $100,000, my six figure that I'm looking for, then I'm cool with taking 95 as long as this, that, and that, but, you have your stipulations. Like, I can take this as long, I can flex on this if I get this, you know what I mean? But if there's some things that's just like no flex on, like for me, it's remote, no flex, not happening. For me, it's remote work. I will not flex on remote work. I'm a remote worker. If I have to go into the office, you can keep that, you know what I mean? And I know, like, during the pandemic, it created a lot of jobs where people are able to work from home and things like that. And once I've gotten to that, like, I'm able to work from home. I'm able to work more on my business. I'm able to pour more into people as far as helping them get to the six-figure salaries that they're looking for, fix their personal credit, get their business credit popping. I was able to get my personal credit popping, you know what I mean, and working on my business credit as well, so it just opened up a lot of doors for me, being remote. So I know that was one thing I'm not flexing on. So I recommend to people, write your list of non-negotiables, and when you write that list of non-negotiables, tailor your resume to the position that's going to give you those things that you're looking for, benefits that you're looking for in a position. Once you've done that, only apply to those positions. If I say I'm going to be a recruiting manager and I'm going to make this much a year and I'm going to be remote, that's all I'm applying for. I'm not applying for waitress positions. I'm not applying for customer service. I'm not all the way trying to see if I can get a technology job and things like that because I have no experience. No, that's not what I said. I said, this is what I want. This is the specialty I want. This is the focus that I want. And this is the company standards that I want. And I can say I checked off everything on my list. You know what I mean? Because that's what I stuck to. So have a plan, execute that plan, stick to that plan, because execution and consistency is everything. And that's
100%.
That's it.
100%.
Yeah.
So now here's a question. So you went into mentorship. Did you write down your expectations of mentorship before you went in?
I did not, but that's something that I should have done. So that's something that I will recommend for people to do.
Yeah.
Because, now starting my own mentorships, it's like I recommend people to do that, period. And I would like to see that from whoever I'm mentoring. You know what I mean? Like, what are your expectations from what are you expecting to get from me out of this? Because, my last mentorship, I wish that was something that I would have, I expected to assist. Now, mentally, I did say, the number one expectation that I expected to get out of it was network, and I can say,
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I built a pretty strong network here, you know what I mean? And like, that was the main number one that I wanted to get out of it. So I can say I got that out of it. However, I didn't write it down, but when you write it down, you can make it a reality. So I definitely should have.
Okay. So now, have you yet started writing your plan or writing your expectations of what the results are that you're expecting for yourself out of the business or businesses that you're creating? Not all of them. The ones that I've already had established, like my staffing agency, yes. Okay. I know that's on my yearly goal list. I broke my yearly goal list into quarters. So it's quarterly broken down into, however, I can say a little bit of those things have changed because I didn't expect to jump into this mentorship. I didn't expect to learn the things that I did. I didn't expect to meet the community that I did and have the things that are going for me going at this time. As far as financial literacy, as far as teaching other people this stuff and getting other people get it going and things like that. And that does take a lot of time, because each individual person has their own individual things. Sometimes people want just to increase their salary. Sometimes, after you've gotten them to increase their salary, now they're more interested in personal credit, or now they're ready to build their business because they do have the, capital behind that. So that's really my thing. I don't ever want anybody to ever think that I'm pushing, get a job, get a really good job, yay, work for this company. That's not what I'm pushing. I'm pushing, get a job, get a really good job, get the experience that you need from that job, and create your own.
because that's what I did. I know in my heart I like helping people. I like the look that I see on people's faces when I can say, hey, this was a $16 an hour job. I'm so sorry. They're not going to give you the $16 an hour. They're going to give you 19. You know what I mean? Right. And watching like the tears form in their eyes and things like that's something that I'm passionate about. So that's why I stuck to that. I stuck to staffing. I've done everything in staffing that you could think of. Billing, payroll. I've been in all departments, and with big companies, little startups, all of it, So now that I have the experience with them, now I can take all this experience that you guys have paid me for. Thank you. Right. You know what I mean? Thank you for paying me to go to school. Right. Now I'm going to take this and put it into my own business, So now I'm able to say, I know how to create a staffing agency. I know how to successfully run it. I can go and get you the employees that you need, and not just employees on paper that you need, but somebody that's going to fit the experience of, the experience and the culture of your company, So
I love it. So how would you, if somebody wanted to reach out to you and wanted to get a position, right? Like what's the process?
It depends. Like, what do you mean by get a position? Would they like to work with me and my agency, or would they like to increase their salary within their own personal field right now?
So give me both.
Okay, so if it was to work with me and my agency, then you can go to goldshellmanagement.com. And you can drop your resume there.
Say the name of it again.
I'm sorry, that's goldshellmanagement.com. You can drop a resume in there for me. You can also write me a note, anything you like. If I do have time, I'll give you some resume tips as far as like things that can use improvement and things like that. I do prefer that you let me know the type of position that you're looking for. If I have it available, then we can go ahead. We could set that interview and see what's going on. Right now, I'm doing a lot of work with engineers. Okay. So I do get other positions in randomly, maybe some customer service, some type of some financial positions, things like that. I get those in at random. However, my main focus at this moment is engineers, industrial engineers, and also pilots with military experience. So even if you don't have that experience, though, drop your resume. However, if it's something that you're already maybe in your field that you're looking to be in, and you're just looking to see how to get that increase, how to get to that six-figure position, I do recommend my ebook. That's the most in-depth thing that you can get from me, to basically tell you how to increase views on your resume, how to get the recruiter's attention, because there's an art to getting the recruiter's attention. Like not everybody's going to get called, especially if it's something that is a high demand position. So my ebook can basically tell you exactly how to tailor your resume, exactly what to look for in positions, exactly how to come to the interview, and how to land that six-figure job.
Where do they find your ebook?
So my ebook can be found on if you go to my Instagram, it's in my LinkedIn, in my link tree, inside of my Instagram. You can always DM me on Instagram, ms.headhunter. And I tell people first, start off on my Instagram. Go through some of the things that I say, like they may seem like that's not going to help, but it's going to help. Like one thing, someone actually reached out to me and said they went through my Instagram and seen bring a notepad to your next interview, and why to bring a notepad to your next interview. They brought a notepad to the next interview, did everything that I said in the ebook, and what do you think? Landed the job.
That's it.
So
that's it. So
it's something as simple.
Receipts that you produce results.
It's something as simple. Absolutely. My first actual success story was through one of my very good friends, and that friend was working at a warehouse, and during COVID and things, everything that happened during COVID as far as, riots and things like that. A lot of companies got out of line with a lot of things, so she decided to leave that position. So from a $15 an hour warehouse job to, I want to say, $98,000 annual. No experience. No experience in that field. No experience in that field.
Wow.
So, do I have a success story? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't talk about anything that I'm not sure about,
I talk like this, I can back it up.
And I can back it up all the way. I can back it up. I don't talk about things I can't back up.
Right.
Or that I haven't seen work.
Right.
So And like I've been doing this for almost 10 years now.
Okay.
We're almost 10 years that I've been in recruitment. So I can tell you what a recruiter is looking for.
Right.
You know, like, I can tell you what to put in your resume. That's the job that you, especially a recruiter. If you want to be a recruiter, I'm the person to reach out to if you want to be a recruiter. That'll be the next course, actually. It's going to show you how to start your own recruitment agency and how I did it, basically, with no experience. You can start your own recruitment agency today with no experience. And if you think you're not going to be making 6 figures from your own recruitment agency,
You're sadly
you are. You got another thing coming.
So here's a question. What kind of capital do you need to start your own recruitment?
Oh, nothing. Not, basically nothing. So I can say all you need is the resources to be able to find the clients. And you can really do that through free trials if you want until you get your first customer base, you know? So a lot of these places have 30-day free trials and things like that. And as long as you know who your target is, what you know, niche you're going into and things like that, then you're able to target those companies and reach out to the people in those companies that are the decision makers, let them know what you do, and land that contract. Once you land that contract, let's just say agencies get paid off of percentages when it comes to a direct hire. So if you're doing something to where it's staffing, where you're providing the employees for that company and they're under your payroll and you're providing the check for them, then you may need a little capital in order to cover the initial expenses of the paycheck that's going out, because you're going to pay the employees and then you're going to get back paid by the company what the hourly was for that employee plus your markup percentage, right? So it's not taking, I think a lot of candidates, that's like a myth with staffing agencies, is that a staffing agency is taking a percentage of what you would have been paid, but that is absolutely not true. I've worked with different clients who actually pay the temp staff more than the full-time staff on their schedule. And the reason for that is they don't have all the extra expenses. They don't have the expenses of your Medicare.
401k.
They don't have your 401k. They don't have what's it called? Everyone always forgets a workers' comp. They don't have those, you know, and workers' comp is a lot of money, especially when you get into certain fields. So if you take that away from them, then they actually have more money to pay those candidates. So one thing that I tell everybody that I work with is when you're looking for a job, start with the staffing agencies, because a recruiter's job in a staffing agency is to fill that position. So when that position is filled, first of all, we're going to fill the position with the person that makes the most sense because it's our reputation on the line, you know? And when we fill that position, not only are you getting paid, we get paid. The more you get paid. So of course we're going to push for that. You know what I mean? Like, you come in there, you tell that agency what you're looking for. You give them a resume that makes sense of what you're looking for, you know, and you tell them where you're looking to be salary-wise. Don't get scared. A lot of people come into agencies and they're scared. I've had people with master's degrees come and tell me they just want to make at least $15 an hour. And I'm like, baby, you have a master's degree in what you're doing. You're a whole engineer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, times is tough. No. What it is you're just settling for the, you know, like, job that can come quick, and you think it can come quick, but it won't. Because now you're looked at as she has too much experience, she's going to leave us. So that's why it's important to have your resume tailored to the job that you want. Don't ever think that you can go in and put, like, oh, you know, like, for instance, myself. You know, I've been a branch manager over recruitment agencies. I have my own agency. If I was going to get a job in hotel management, that would not be something that, you know, like, I would put more transferable skills as far as managing. This is the team that I manage. This is you know, if I'm going for a job where I just want to lay back and I'm just like, you know, I just want a recruiter position, you know, then I'm going to highlight my recruitment experience, you know, and things like that. So, yeah.
A lot of people say that they got into something because they wanted to help people. When did you say to yourself, you know what, recruitment is a great way for me to help people?
That's a great question. So I actually stumbled upon recruitment. So I was a supervisor in a call center, and I became, okay, let me back up. So I became a supervisor in a call center because I don't like sitting in one spot and not feeling like I'm utilizing my brain, and I didn't. Like, it's like you guys are giving me a script, and then too much for me. So I need something where I can utilize my brain.
Right.
So of course I caught on to things quick there. Okay,
Right.
cool. Now I'm a supervisor. So during that process of being a supervisor, I got into interviewing people, and that's basically where it took off. So once I left that position in the call center, I went to a staffing agency because a friend of mine, we actually both left that call center at the exact same time. She went to a staffing agency, I didn't, and she landed a six-figure job.
Okay.
You know, and I was like, wow, like, okay, interesting. So I'm like, let me try my hand, you know. So at first, when I went into the staffing agency, I wasn't looking for a six-figure job because my mindset was small. My mindset was small about myself. I thought small with myself. Like, you know, I'm like, you know, it's different. She has a degree. I don't have this. I don't have this. Blah blah blah. So
Because that's what the world reinforces. You're not enough because you don't have enough.
Exactly. That's why I like to tell people you're enough. You know what I mean? Don't let people just tell you, you know, and you just take that and run with it. You know what I mean? Like, no. Take a minute, reevaluate yourself and who you are. You know what I mean? And that, you know, it took a minute, but I got there. But initially getting into staffing, I didn't go for the staffing position. I went for a warehouse position. So when I walk into the staffing agency, I'm dressed head to toe. And that's another thing in my book, dress for the position that you want. Because when I came in there, I sat down and the lady said, how can I help you?
Right.
Very confused. And I was like, hi, I have an interview scheduled. I've been talking to, you know, so-and-so. My name is LeDrane, and I came for the warehouse position. I see it's here, $15 an hour, blah, blah, blah. That lady laughed at me. Yo, I will never forget that. I will never forget that lady laughed at me. And she said, wait, you're really here for the warehouse position? I said, yes. I'm thinking to her, like, yeah,
Right.
you don't see this muscle? Girl, I can move a box.
Right.
You know, what are you saying
Try
here?
me not.
Try me not, right. She said, I appreciate you coming in for this position. However, I don't think that will be a good fit for you. And I'm like, dang, like now I really don't have no job.
Right.
What I'm gonna do, you know?
Right.
But
Only offended.
really offended, like, damn, now I don't have a job.
Right.
So she's like, I have something better for you. She said, I think you would do better working with our clerical department, you know? And I'm like, okay, cool. So she puts me over there. And they're like, oh, great, we have a short-term assignment. I think it was like a 3-week assignment or something like that. She's like, it's really just going into this office. You'll be organizing this and that. You'll be taking this, blah, 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 something that they had going on. Cool. Assignment was for 3 weeks. They thought it was going to take 3 weeks to get done. I got that thing done in a week and a half. And the client was so impressed that they just let me go and pay me for the rest of the weeks. That we'll pay her. That's fine. Boom, boom, boom. So that impressed the company, right? The staffing agency that I was with. At the time, I wasn't thinking like, let's move up in a staffing agency. I wasn't thinking that. I was just thinking like, give me the check.
Right.
I was refereeing at that time. Okay. I had a, you know, like I'm just like whatever.
You were surviving.
I was give me the check. You know. So, when I went back to the agency, I'm like, do you guys have any other assignments? You know, unfortunately this one's over. They're like, yeah, they told us to pay you for the rest. Blah blah blah. She said, actually, we have a lady that's going on maternity leave in one of our offices. Would you like to get in the staffing? And I said, absolutely. You know, so she sends me over there. I'm again at an hourly position. I think it was $14-15 an hour when I first started admin. I was only supposed to be going there to arrange their filing cabinets or something like that. No. After probably about a month and a half, like I'm making calls to candidates, you know, I'm bringing people in, I'm recruiting, you know, like I'm recruiting. So a recruiter position became available a few months after me being there. And the guy who I was under there, he actually turned me down for the position. I didn't understand why. I'm like, I'm dealing with the clients already. I'm dealing with the candidates already.
Right.
I'm very, you know, literate. So I'm not understanding. He's like, well, you have to be in front of the client. I'm like, and is that a problem? No response. So I seen what kind of time that was on. So I said, okay, thank you, sir, for your time. Have a great day. Okay. Packed my stuff, moved to Atlanta, and that's when I started focusing on exactly what I wanted. I want to be a recruiter,
right,
and a staffing agency,
right,
and that's what I want. You know, so I applied for all the staffing agencies.
And you want to be able to be a chocolate chip and do so.
Exactly. I want to be a chocolate chip while I do that.
Right.
I don't want to have to be, you know,
right,
like chocolate.
Right.
So, yeah. And Atlanta was the absolute best spot for that. So the company that I went into, it actually, I mean, it wasn't predominantly black, but that was fine with me because the people there were everything. that was a company that I can say I learned A through Z what a staffing agency consists of. So it was a startup in the U.S. It has already been started in Germany and a few other countries. But the U.S., it was a startup. So everyone there, we got to experience the whole startup situation. We got to be in billing. We were in payroll. We were all nights. You know what I mean? People call in all hours of the day. It was ridiculous. I did that for almost 4 years. And through those 4 years, I went from I think that was like $16, $17 an hour coming in as an admin. 2 weeks after I was an admin, I went to a junior recruiter. Maybe like 2 months after being a junior recruiter, I'm updating my LinkedIn profile, I'm updating my Indeed, all while I'm doing this, all while I'm getting these promotions. People started reaching out to me on LinkedIn. Oh, I have a great opportunity for you here, a great opportunity here. I love your experience, blah, blah, blah. So what I did was, really, do you? Thank you. Okay, I'm going to take that interview. I'm going to take that offer letter and high job that I'm already at.
Right.
This is what they're offering me. So would you like to match this, or would you like for me to see you later?
Right.
And guess what? Match double. So great. Because they,
because we're gonna keep you.
Recognize your value, and they recognize a valuable employee.
Okay.
So from there, I went from junior recruiter. I put the quotes around it because there's no difference from a junior recruiter to a recruiter except for the salary, right? So I went from junior recruiter to recruiter, got a salary increase immediately. A position opened up in New York. That was my dream place to be since middle school. Yes, I will take that. And that was the best decision I made. I had the most freedom in that position. It was only me out there as an employee. Nobody cared where I went. I had the best client ever. Like, I can say the best crew, the best client, the best, the best staff. I never had to be there. So when I tell you I was running free in New York with a great salary and just living my life.
Living your best life.
Living my best life.
Wow.
Pandemic hit. Pandemic hit. And I'm like, I don't want to be out in New York by myself, so I ended up coming back to Georgia. When I came back to Georgia, that's when it was time for salary negotiations, because when I go to New York, of course, the price of living is different, the price of living increased. So one of my managers came to me and said, oh, we want you over this account, we want you to handle this many staff, we want you to handle this many clients. Unfortunately, we're going to have to decrease your salary. I said, unfortunately,
that's
I'm gonna
unacceptable.
I said, I'm not trying to, start anything or anything like that. However, due to the circumstances, if you're saying there's nothing that you can do in regards to my salary, no shade, I would like to speak to your manager. And I spoke to my manager's manager, and I had a meeting with him. I set up a meeting with the CEO of the company, and I said, let's sit down. So when he got me in there, he explained why they wanted to cut my salary and things like that. I politely let him explain, nodded my head, and I explained to him why they were not going to cut my salary. And I told him, I said, look, I appreciate everything that you're saying to me. I understand you guys' budget. I understand things like that. However, I've been with you guys for 3 years. I know the business. I know the systems. I know the processes. If you get someone new in here, they're going to want the same salary that I already have with the experience that I have. You know what I mean? So if that's what you want to do, that's fine. Have a great day, sir. You know what I mean? But other than that, we're going to keep my salary. You know what I mean? You're either going to keep my salary, or you're going to have to find somebody to fill this position and who's going to put up with this. This is a startup company. Startup, I don't think people understand how busy a startup is. You know what I mean? A startup is worse than being at a corporate company. At my corporate company, I can sit back all day long. No one is at a startup. You're gonna have people blowing your phone up. You're gonna be this close to everybody there because you have to. You know what I mean? Everybody holds such an important position, and if somebody falls off from that, you know how much it takes to give another person that experience and build them up to that employee. It takes a lot. So that's what I explained to him. I said, you can do that if you want to. However, you're going to have to incur the cost of all the training. You're going to have to negotiate the salary with another person. You're going to have to make sure that that person's personality fits your team. I'm already here. You know what I mean? I'm already here. So I can give you a minute to think that over. However, those are my terms. I'm not flexing on my salary. And we kept my salary. So but that was my journey through staffing.
Y'all remember when we did that episode in season 1, push back?
Push back.
This is what I'm talking about.
Don't
push
ever
back. Stand your ground and push back. Because when people see that they can push you over, they will.
And a lot of people like to think that pushing back is a little aggressive, or they like to think that they're probably not going to get the job if they push back a little bit on the salary and things like that. Don't think like that. You know your worth, and make sure you remember your worth. You know what I mean? Like, when you go into these interviews, you know what you've done. I know what I've done. You know what I mean? I know how many people I've led in a team. I know how many people I'm able to recruit. I know if I put my all into something, I can probably recruit 100 a day if I want to. You know what I mean? Because I know what to do. You know what I mean? So it's like, this isn't something that has to be taught to me. It's something that I already know. You just have to teach me your company standards, and we're in there, you know? So as long as you know what you're doing, you come to those interviews with a metric-based resume. And that's what I tell everybody, metric-based resume. And what a metric-based resume is something that can be measured on your resume. So instead of saying things like, let's see, like, I'm a great customer service person, you know, like, you want to switch, you know, like strengths, customer service. No, strengths. I was able to implement a customer service program within this department that increased the candidates'
something
satisfaction.
quantifiable.
You have to quantify it. And if you can't talk to somebody, you probably don't even realize the type of things that can be quantified on your resume. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what a lot of they don't understand. Like, a lot of things can be measured. You know, people are like, well, I'm in the warehouse. How can that be measured? It can be measured. You know what I mean?
You're dealing with inventory. Inventory is all about numbers.
If you think of yourself as the lowest employee, you're going to be the lowest employee.
Say that
you know
again.
What I mean? If you think of yourself as the lowest employee, you're going to be the lowest employee.
Good,
if you
ma'am.
think of yourself as the CEO, you're going to be the CEO. It's
Talking
mindset.
good, ma'am.
It's mindset. You know what I mean? It's mindset. I don't care how much you pay. I don't care if you pay me $8 an hour. I don't care if you pay me six figures. The type of person that I am when I walk in there, you're going to be paying me what I want when I leave. That's it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you have to show people your value. That's just like us doing courses and mentorship.
Correct.
People want to see our value. Right. You see what we're able to bring to the table. You see how we've gotten people Amexes. You see how we've gotten people business credit. You see how we're able to take vacations in the middle of the week.
The week.
In the middle of the week.
Because.
And relax.
Just because.
Because
it's my birthday and let's go someplace 5-star.
So it's no flex. You know what I mean? Like, this whole time, people would dream. You know what I mean? People would dream of being, and it's like, you don't have to dream. You don't have to dream because things are obtainable. My first thing that I really, really, really wanted to hone in on before I got into staffing was traveling, because ever since I knew I was never going to stay in my hometown. But a lot of people stay in their hometowns because they think it's hard. But what's hard about it? Picking up and moving, like, you know what I mean? What's really hard about it? Like,
separation anxiety.
It's separation anxiety, because you can live anywhere you want to. What do you need to live? You need a roof over your head. You need some source of income. You know what I mean? And you need food. Like, what is everywhere? You know what I mean? Like, a roof over your head. It doesn't matter. I can come right here in Mexico right now and say, hey, leave me here. And I promise you, I will be back in the States in a better position than when I was when you left me here. You know what I mean? Because it's all about your mindset. It's all about your mindset. If you think you can get up and go, then you can get up and go. If you think that you're stuck in the position that you're in, then you're stuck in the position that you're in. You know what I mean? If you think you can never make a six-figure salary, I can never get $50,000 in business credit, I can never open up my coffee shop, I can never own a business, I can never travel out of the country, I can never blah, 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 then you can never. Because your words hold power. So if you can never, then you can never. Me, it's never been I can never. You know, I have people since middle school, like, she wants to live in Atlanta and New York. Oh, okay. You know, like, that's good, baby. That's good. Done 3 years in New York. You know what I mean? And left on my own terms. You know what I mean? And I'm going back to Atlanta. You know what I mean? Because that's where I wanted to be. When I say I'm gonna eventually, I'm thinking about it, depending on if I find somewhere that's, you know, like, okay, this is decent. I plan on moving out of the country for at least 6 months to a year, you know? And to a lot of people, that's like impossible. Why is that impossible?
I know so many people who are expats.
Wait,
they leave,
I have a question for everybody.
and they are gone, and they're living their best life.
Why is a passport impossible?
Why
is a passport impossible? $125. Why is that impossible?
It's not.
It's not. Do you know it's cheaper to fly international than it is domestic?
That's crazy.
That's crazy. That is crazy. So why do people have...
my mind's spinning right now. That's crazy.
You know why? Because the U.S. is crazy when it comes to money. crazy when it comes to money.
That's a fact.
Do you know, since we've came to Mexico, what did I get? I want to say 250, 200 American dollars out of the ATM. Probably still got about 175 of them sitting in there.
Right.
We've been here quite a few days.
Right.
We've done quite a few
things.
Right. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's people's mindset. That $125, you've spent that a million times over. A million
nonsense.
Nonsense.
On
Nonsense.
McDonald's.
So what's important to you? You know what I mean? What's important to you? Me? It's important for me to see the world. Like, I feel like God created this world for all of us to see, and I'm about to see every inch of it that I can. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
I feel like a lot of people make excuses.
That's a fact.
I don't like to travel. Do you not like to travel? Or do you not like to have to think about the things that you need to get in order to travel?
A lot of people will say that they don't like to do something because they don't want to admit that they're afraid of something else. Like, the people that are like, well, I mean, I never really cared about traveling. Or is it the fact that you're afraid to fly?
So I can say something to that. So my fear was becoming successful. That was my fear.
Let's talk about that.
That was my fear. So my fear was becoming successful because sometimes I get anxiety when I see things happening that feels too good to be true. You know what I mean? Because of such negative thoughts, like, that's unobtainable. You can never make $1 million. Like, oh, that's a whole lot of money, you know, and things like that. And you hear all those thoughts and and then you hear it from a lot of small-minded people.
Right.
People that, you know, but it's like, once I made the decision to, the reason that I made the decision to...
Mister.
Yeah, I see him.
You see
He like,
him?
what's up?
How you flexing
Bro,
on
he giving you the what's
How
up.
you flexing on my shoes though?
Bruh, when the
There is a
iguana,
whole
when the
iguana
iguana
and
interrupts
dumb
everything,
Big. Hold on.
show them that iguana.
I
that's
need
next
y'all
to
to
all
see.
of our stuff.
Can y'all see? You know what? Let's get closer. Hold on.
That is an iguana.
Because I am not about to play. So are we gonna talk about this diesel iguana that is over here? Like, and he was dead flexing on my belongings. I need y'all to know that this iguana is like almost 3 feet long. I also need you to not be that. I know you lying. All the smoke. I'm cool. I just need my stuff though.
Facts. Like, if we just get our stuff in this
I'm not going anywhere.
This is what I'm saying. Like,
and this is our stuff.
yeah, no, I'm cool. Look, yeah, thank you. Take them with you. Take them with you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Look. Y'all, this is where it gets interesting, okay? We decided we were going to go over to the snack counter, get a beverage, get a sandwich, relocate to the other side of the pool, go sit in the cabana, continue the interview. The decision was a good one. However, we weren't the only ones that made that decision. So now when we get to the other side of the pool, I'm going to just let you watch and see what happens. Just keep in mind, we are present, even though you can't see us, you can only hear us. In a moment, you'll understand why. If you ever wanted to know what it's like to be close to a dinosaur, come to Mexico, because these iguanas are outside. For real, for real. Crazy. Oh my God! Get off my blanket! Get off my blanket! Can y'all rescue me, please?
Yo, I'm like, you like he coming up. He's coming up. And yeah, he came up on our.
Get off my blanket! You mad rude? Get off my blanket! Get. Oh my! Are you recording this? Look.
You see it? We need that footage.
It's some bullshit.
It's some unwanted guys. Yo.
They've been following us since over there.
Yeah, he's
You jump in the pool?
It's the way you leaped over my sandwich for me.
Ain't no way. Cause I'm not scared of, but you're not about to crawl on me now.
yeah.
That's another type of thing.
Okay. Sit up.
Ain't no way. LeDrane, your worst nightmare just happened. The damn iguana climbed up on while we were sitting there.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, I'm good. I don't want to be here no more.
This is what I can tell you. I've been telling them since we got here that they chase folks, and they've been laughing at me. They will chase you.
No. Please.
Thank you.
He violated my blanket. He crawled all the way across my blanket.
See, and I'm glad I wasn't here.
Me too, because you would have been leaving Mexico. She'd have been like, all right, where's my flight?
All these people complaining like this bitch yelling for what?
Yo, we were yelling. She hopped over my food, ran into the pool.
What I told you I got chased by what? Was y'all laughing?
I didn't laugh at you.
I got chased by what?
I didn't laugh at you.
I'm not sitting out here.
All right, so we were talking about you. Your biggest fear was becoming successful. So let's talk about that. Let's unpack that.
Okay. So, like I said, one of my biggest fears was, I got you.
Girl, I failed.
you.
I stepped on a rock or something,
Like
and it hurt.
One of my biggest fears was becoming successful, and a lot of people don't see that as a fear. Like, you know, like why would you have a fear of making this much amount of money, or why would you have a fear of being in a position that you've always wanted to be in? Because it's a mindset, you know, and when you don't feel like you're deserving of such thing, it's scary, you know. And when you start seeing it happen, it's even scarier,
Right.
because it's out of your norm, you know. It's out of the things that you normalize as being, you know. So, like, starting my business, you know, it's like, not even just starting my business, to like a lot of things. I'm involved with a lot of things, you know, the stock market. I love the stock market, things like that. But I guess you could say the fear is more so, or was more so, around not feeling deserving, and also not knowing what to expect. Because when you've been living a certain life for generations, you know what to expect, and that's why people get stuck in it. Because you know what to expect, you know, like, you know, the hustle and bustle of work, you know what I mean? You know, I have to work these 40 hours or I'm not going to get paid, you know. And honestly, that was the scariest feeling. Making money outside of my 9 to 5, because it was like, once you show me something can be done, it's over, you know what I mean? So it's like, wait, hold on. So I can make what I make in my 9 to 5 in a day?
Right.
I seen somebody make what I make in 3 months in 8 minutes.
Sheesh.
8 minutes.
Sheesh.
If you think I didn't hop on learning how to trade,
Right.
I'm in the market,
Right.
you know. But that's what I mean by increase and invest, you know. So I believe, start with your income. If you're at a 9 to 5, start with your income, you know, and build yourself up to be able to receive those type of blessings, you know, those type of success stories and things like that. You know, you have to work on yourself before you can. You can't go from $10 an hour, get $1 million, and think you're going to build generational wealth behind it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of learning that goes into it. It's a lot of, you know, like, it's a lot. So it was just me feeling like I wasn't worthy enough, or I wasn't going to be smart enough to make the decisions that I need to make, you know? And when you're ready, everything comes to you. So, yeah, that was my fear of success. So now I can say I'm stepping out of that.
Girl, and she got me stepping on these broken shells. She's trying so hard to tear up the bottom of my feet.
A honeycomb.
And then she's trying to keep me, and you see me trying to walk, and she holding me. She all strong. Look, y'all, look at what she's trying to drag me through.
Turn around. Everyone, I'm just trying to turn her around. Stop it. Stop it.
She hurted me.
The drama.
She hurted me. Okay, so when did you become unafraid of being successful? What was the turning point?
To be honest, I still have a fear.
I
still have a fear. I get anxiety, so I believe I told you this a little earlier when we were here, that when I'm in situations where I feel like it's outside of the norm, you know, especially people in my age group and things like that, if I feel like I'm outside of the norm of things, it gives me anxiety, because why me? You know, like what makes me different? You know, but I am different,
right?
And it's okay to be different,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to receive that, you know. And once you allow yourself to receive it, the fear kind of goes away,
right?
Like, you know, it's like, I deserve. So it's really just finding that I deserve, you know, and holding yourself to that I deserve. So why not? You know what I mean? Like, for the longest of times, I wouldn't go I didn't go after a six-figure job for years because I didn't feel that I was deserving enough for that. You know what I mean? So I let that sit. But once I position my mind and be like, no, you deserve it. You know what I mean? And what happened? You know, I went after it. And like I said, in less than 2 months, I obtained it. Because it's all about what you feel you deserve. When I started credit, heart beating. I got to deal with other people's credit. I don't know. You know what you're doing. You know what I mean? So you deserve. You know what I mean? Like when I started my agency, I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to talk to all these clients. You know what you're doing. You know, you deserve. So I feel like we all deserve. Like we all deserve. And the only reason that we don't get what we deserve is because we don't stay consistent. You know, we don't stay consistent and we don't feel that we're deserving enough to be persistent, you know? So, yeah, I'm working on it, but I'm a work in progress, so.
Yep. Again. This walk on the beach might not have been the best.
It was cool though.
It was especially not without my water shoe.
We all good. We got some footage.
We got what we did.
We got the nice little ocean view in the background.
Yeah.
Hey, we outside.
I can't see anything with the sun in my eyes.
We outside, y'all.
Come back. I am not finished. She keeps trying to lead this episode. Like, yeah. So you know that this is the Passion PSA Podcast.
I absolutely do. Passion PSA.
And PSA means public service announcement.
Absolutely.
So what are 3 to 5 points, passion points that you want the passionists to walk away with?
3 to 5 passion points. Number 1 is you deserve. So you deserve. I don't care if it's a 6-figure job. Right. I don't care if it's your own business. I don't care if it's a better relationship. You deserve. Okay? So let whatever your past be your past. And know that in your future you deserve. That's number 1. Number 2, fix your credit. Number 2, fix your credit. Because a lot of times in our communities we're not taught all the benefits of credit. You know, we just think credit's going to get you a credit card and I don't really need all them problems because it's going to make me more bills. That's not true. Fix your credit. There's money in fixed credit. So, you know, OPM. So fix your credit. You fix your credit, you can get onto that business credit. You get onto that business credit, you can be in the middle of the week taking a vacation and relaxing. You can have that whatever you want. You know, you can have that business. You can have that bar, that coffee shop, that restaurant, you know, that online business, that digital product, whatever you want. You can have it. Like number 3, mindset. And I think that's probably the biggest thing of it all is in order to receive anything, you have to be willing to change some things. You have to be willing to understand things that were never understood to the people around you. You have to be willing to understand that you're probably gonna look crazy to the people around you. You know, like you probably will be talked about. You know, and guess what? One of my favorite things that I hear all the time is they talked about Jesus, and that's true. They talked about Jesus, and that's fine. Talk about me, you know, but while you talking, I'm gonna be talking straight to the bank. I'm talking to the banker while you talking to your friend, you know,
right,
like change your conversation, change your algorithm. If there's anything that I can tell y'all, change your algorithm. Change your algorithm. How do you change your algorithm? You start looking for things that make more sense. Look for successful people, follow business pages, follow business quotes, like those different types of personal credit and different things that you see on there. People are teaching you. We're in a teaching time right now. Right. And you just have to be willing to learn. So if you're willing to learn during this teaching time, resources, hit me up. You don't know where to go? I'm here. But why am I Miss Headhunter? Because I'm going to find it. Like, you know, if anybody doesn't know what a headhunter does is, a headhunter is a type of recruiter that doesn't wait for the applicants to come to us. We go and find that particular person that we're looking for. We find what we're looking for. So the reason I call myself Miss Headhunter is because this is even outside of recruitment. I'm going to find what I need, and I'm going to find the best person to do that job. So you don't know where to go? Hit me up, Miss Headhunter. And those are the 3 things. 4, actually, I gave y'all 4.
What passion points would I leave you with from today? Even after you start becoming successful, it is possible to still have fear of success. Push through that fear and do it anyway.
Absolutely.
it is scary.
Do it
scary. Do it scared.
One of my mentors, he said, "Do it scared." At the end of last year, do it scared, and that's all I've been doing. Do it scared, because it's not gonna get any better. It's not gonna get any better. Do it scared.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You said you are deserving. I would say you're more qualified than you think. You are more qualified than you think.
That's in my book.
The world is going to tell you something different. People who have never gotten certain things, they'll tell you, oh, you don't have the qualifications for it. You might not have the qualifications for this job that you applied for. However, it might not be that you don't have the qualifications. The verbiage in your resume, your package is not correct. You have to correct your package.
And your package is here too, not just that resume.
100%.
I just want to let you know something as a recruiter. We don't waste time. So when we bring you in for an interview, you're not the only one that's coming in for that interview. We're bringing in everybody that's qualified for that position. So what's going to make you stand out? What's going to make you different? How am I going to remember you? You want to be memorable. I just want everybody to know that. You want to be memorable. You want to be the one that at the end of your interview, they're like, I don't remember anybody else. But LeDrane? Oh, I remember her.
Right.
Why? Because she knew me.
Right.
I walk into the interview and I'll tell you about yourself.
Right.
I like to see that you've done 10 years here at this company. How was your experience here?
Right.
I make my recruiters talk to me because that takes the pressure off of me.
Right.
So I like that point that you brought up. Just know that your mindset is everything. I've seen a lot of people come in for interviews and have more experience than the person that we hired, but it's all about personality. Make sure you're that fit. Nobody wants to work with a Debbie Downer.
So speaking of that, I know a lot of people who feel very comfortable in their current disposition. I will always encourage you to be yourself. I will always encourage you to know that you are enough. However, I need for you to be aware of yourself in other spaces. If you want to go beyond the spaces that you've already been in, there are going to be some shifts that you're going to have to make.
Do things you've never done.
But you have to make some changes. There are people right now that are like, oh, that's just how I am. And we talk about this all the time, Passionate. They're like, that's just how I am. Your attitude and your disposition will keep you always in these 5 little spaces. You won't be able to go beyond that because it's just how you are.
Right.
And you refuse to do something a little bit different. You can be tough, and you don't have to be like a thug. You don't have to be street. Everything doesn't have to end in violence. Everything doesn't have to be like super aggressive. And when I say super aggressive, I'm not talking about like you chasing after or pursuing what you want. I'm talking about being unnecessarily aggressive and how you talk to people, you're rude to people.
Code switch.
That.
When I tell y'all I got a code switch, Passion.
Right.
There's a code switch. It's the code
they know,
switch.
because they know I go.
If you don't know what a code switch is, then Google it. You have to use that code switch to your advantage. I actually am in a group, and a lady from my group, I gave a piece of advice to a woman in the group. She actually landed the job. And in that advice, I had told her that when you come to the interview, you want to know more about the company and the interviewer than they expected you to know. A lady gets in there and was like, if I have all the experience, that has nothing to do with me. That's just them being picky, and they don't like who they already know who they want. It's that attitude, it's that mentality, you know what I mean? And you know what I told her? After she went back and forth with me on it, I told her, ma'am, this was not meant to be taken negative at all. You know what I mean? I'm like, this was a helpful post. If it didn't apply to you, let it ride. You know what I mean? But personally, since we are getting personal now, as a recruiter, if you reached out to me for a job, I wouldn't hire you. I don't care about all the experience you have. I don't care about your degree. I don't care about your resume. I don't care about none of that. It's your attitude. It's your attitude. So her defense was, everybody should know how to work in a team. We're all employees. You don't have that code switch.
Everybody doesn't want to necessarily work with you, especially if that's how you act.
Everybody does not know how to work in a team, and nobody wants to work in a difficult team. Okay, so when you're at a 9 to 5, you spend 8 hours of your life with these people. That is a lot of time. I don't think a lot of people understand, like, when you come into a company, you're coming into a family, because that's now the people that you're going to be seeing on a daily, communicating with on a daily. Your personalities need to match in some sort of way. And if you're one of those people that come in and just say, hey, it's my way or the highway, or I hope they get with the program with me, and you don't want to come together and listen to other people's ideas, take that in and just listen. Number one, you're not a good leader. And number two, you're not good in a team. So if you're not a good leader, you're not good in a team, then it's hard for you to want to move, to be able to move up in everything. At some point, you're going to have to stop being the one to say, it's not me, it's them. You have to say, it's me. You have to look into yourself. So until you're able to look into yourself and see what's wrong with you, that's always going to be your downfall. And that's a lot of people's downfall is everyone, excuse my language, but everyone thinks their shit doesn't stink. And everyone has a stinky shit somewhere in there. So find your shit that stinks and clean that shit up. Because if not, the world is going to be very hard for you. It's nothing but love. But it's just because I do want to see people get to a next level, especially people of our color, because we've been held down for so long, and people think that we're not as intelligent as we are.
Let me see. There were like two more things that I wanted to say as passion points. One was, if you're still in the employee space and you are looking to remain in the employee space, there's nothing wrong with that, because being a business owner requires a lot, especially when you don't have a team in place. It requires so much of your time, of your life. It is a 24-hour job.
Don't let people tell you it's a walk in the park.
It's a 24-hour job.
You think you're working now?
You leave your job to then your job that's 8 hours to then go work a job that's 24.
Let's see. I'm gonna add to that though. I started my business because I understand some business ownership is not for everybody.
Right.
But I can tell you that it may not be for everybody, but the people who are willing to take on that amount of work, because that's what it is, an amount of work, it's rewarding. You know what I mean? Because yes, just like right now, we're doing business. Like, this is a business trip. Oh wait, tell them how this is what? Free.
Right.
How is this free? You'll see. Anyway, this is a business trip. So the benefits of owning your business, yes, and you are working 24/7, but we're working right now. You understand? This is work. This is work. So don't get it twisted. It's a lot of benefits involved. I say, this is what I like to tell people. Get your 6-figure salary, but even if it's not 6-figure, learn something. Learn something from what you're doing. I don't care what you learn something in that industry, because you can teach it back to people. You can open up your own. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I did. Staffing, I learned that stuff. You know what I mean? And what did I do? I came and I opened up my own agency. So it's just like, you get the skills that you need from these 9-to-5s and you take it to open up something on your own. Like, don't ever stop investing in yourself. You're the biggest investment you can ever invest in.
So the point that I wanted to make was, if you are still in the employee space and you want to remain in the employee space, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't know how to fix up your resume yourself, go talk to somebody who can. There are people, recruiters, talk to somebody who can fix your resume up and send you out in the world ready to go get a 6-figure job with 0 experience in that area. Go talk to somebody. Have somebody else do your resume for you. Have somebody do interview prep with you. Have somebody sit down and ask you a bunch of questions. Let them ask you really uncomfortable questions, because that's how you're going to be able to respond on the drop. Remember, Garrick was talking about that he went into an interview and he had just read an article. They asked him a question and he was totally unprepared for it, but because he had read that article, he was able to draw from that and speak on it. You have to make sure that you are adequately prepared for what you're asking for. It's great to say I want a 6-figure job. I'm not paying you 6 figures to be raggedy. I'm not. I don't want to pay you 5 figures to be raggedy. Like, I don't want to pay you minimum wage to be raggedy. So if you're asking for 6 figures, you need to come in ready to get that 6 figures.
For a 6-figure salary, you need to be a 6-figure person. And if you're not a 6-figure person, then you can kiss that 6-figure salary behind. So that's why I said mindset. Who are you? Are you a 6-figure person, or are you a $15 an hour person? What are you? You know, and only you can determine that, because it's up to you to change it. Only you can determine that. I don't like to hear excuses. You come in with an excuse, come with a solution. So if you're one of those people out there right now that's working a $15 an hour and your excuse as to working it is, I don't have a degree, I don't have experience, nobody wants to hire me, nobody likes minorities. First of all, let me touch on that. This is the perfect time for any type of minority to go out and get a 6-figure job. You know why? The pandemic caused something crazy. It caused an influx of diversity and inclusion into companies. So everybody at this point right now, they're looking for diversity and inclusion. Diversity and inclusion. You know what that means? That means we want the women. We want the black people. You know what I mean? We want all the people that we want the minorities. You know what I do? You know how I got my 6-figure salary? Inclusion and diversity sourcer. So what do? I go and I search, this is in my agency and this is with a 9-to-5. I search for black women engineers. You know what I mean? And of course I'm going to come across, others, and that's not to say that I'm going to overlook them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you have the experience, you have the personality, you have what's you needed, you're going to be passed along. However, priority at this moment is black women.
Right.
And why? Because there's a shortage of that in engineering. You know what I mean? And also people that are not looking to open up your own business or whatever like that. I'm not one of them people that will tell you, oh, don't ever go to college. I would say go to college for things that you need. You know what I mean? If you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, blah, 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 that's what you need college for. You want to be an engineer, that's what you need college for. There's a shortage of industrial engineers, black and women industrial engineers in this market right now. Talk about a 6-figure salary. I have people turning down $215,000 offers, turning them down. Why? Because it's such a hot market. You know what I mean? It's such a need. It's such a need for these people.
Okay.
So they have the opportunity to do that. Imagine having the opportunity to say, I'm sorry, I'm going to pass up that $215,000 salary and unlimited vacations, and I'm going to stick right here. So what are you making?
Right.
What kind of benefits are you getting with your company?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
this is big. So, and I think a lot of people I know, first thing that I hear, I'm too old, I should have went to school. No, negative. You're not dead, you can still go to school, okay? You make the time for what you want to make the time for. So you either make the time to increase your salary, you make the time to invest in yourself, or you make the time to make excuses. Which one are you going to do?
So, Passionates, this was very impromptu. We were sitting down in the pool, and I said, you know what, I'm going to record. And
I'm not an interview type person. I'm going to let y'all know that right now. This is my first ever interview.
She asked me a question, and it turned into an episode.
Right.
So tell them what your name is.
My name is LeDrane Overstreet.
Okay.
I am at miss.headhunter on Instagram. That's ms.headhunter. And I own a staffing and recruitment agency. I also am currently a 6-figure salary earning employee. I teach other people how to get that 6-figure job that they're looking for. And I also help people build their personal credit in order to build their business credit, in order to get that type of funding that they need. And you don't know what they do. 50K in funding, I mean, what can you do with that?
A lot. A lot.
You can absolutely do a lot with that. You know, and I'm going to say one thing that a lot of people don't like to say, especially when it comes to their services and them getting paid from it. Don't come to me if you're not responsible. I don't want to be the reason. I don't want to be the reason. Be responsible, okay? If I get you $50,000 in funding, don't go blow that on something that makes no sense. You better go blow that on a duplex, a triplex, some type of real estate, some type of company, some type of something that's going to benefit your life. So I think one of the main things that people have misunderstood with credit is that credit is going to put you in a hole. Credit only puts you in a hole if you let it put you in a hole. That's it. So if you let credit put you in a hole, you're not a responsible person. I'm sorry to say so. And that's not just me saying you're not a responsible person. I wasn't a responsible person. You know, like I've let credit put me in a hole. Do I want the now or do I want the later? You know what I mean? I want the later. That's my extra tidbit. When you come to me, please be responsible.
And be ready.
Take that credit and be ready. Know what you're going to do with it.
So that's it, Passionates. We have had a guest. We are having a time. We are in Mexico.
We're having a great time.
Listen, prepare to see many more episodes that are abroad. You already saw me interview somebody in Greece. Now I'm in Mexico. I have another interview in Mexico. Big things are happening, and I'm grateful that you are here for it. If you have any additional questions, you can DM Ms. Headhunter. Do you have an email where they can reach you?
I do. So my email address is, this is probably easier. You can go info at goldshellmanagement, and it's all spelled out, management.com. Info at goldshellmanagement.com.
Okay.
Also, stay tuned because We got some things in the work. Don't let her fool y'all. We got some things working up.
Listen.
And they cooking and they brewing. And it's looking nice. You see the smile on her face because she already know what's coming. She already know
I'm
what's
smiling
coming.
because she's like, oh, I have to. I'm not comfortable being in front of the camera.
I'm not. I'm really not. I'm not.
Can y'all see my face?
This is for you. I'm doing this for you. I'm not comfortable. But you know what? I'm getting comfortable. Just stay tuned. Stay tuned. There's a lot of great things happening. And great things can happen when you get around great people. So don't be afraid of these mentorships. Just do your research. Do your research. Know who's mentoring you and know it's something that you're going to be able to use. But I'm going to let you know right now, if you get into a mentorship, you get around like-minded people. Great things happen when you're around like-minded people.
If you have any listener letters, you can send them to my brilliant friend passion@gmail.com. If you don't want to send me a message, but you want to leave me some support, you can drop a megaphone in the comment section. You can leave me a comment in the comment section. You can always give me a thumbs up. You can rate this. The most important thing you could do for this is to share it. Share it. There's somebody who needs this information even more than you did. Share it. With 2 people, with 3 people, with 10 people, I'm never going to be offended. I always appreciate your support. If you would like to be a financial contributor, you can donate through PayPal, Linktree, Zelle, and Podbean. Everything goes back into the pod. I promise. Everything that you give me, I appreciate. I'm going to always pour back into you the best way I know how. Go forth. Be great, be filled with bliss, be armed and empowered with knowledge. Remember that it is possible. Remember that it is doable, even if you have to do it scared. Find yourself a community of other people who are trying to do the same thing, because it is so much easier when you have support and people who are doing the same thing so they understand your struggle. Because people who don't understand your struggle are going to either tell you to get out of it, or they're going to say something really generic like, oh, you're going to be okay though. You're strong. Yo, shut up. I didn't say I was weak. I said I was stressed. I'm strong is not helping me get unstressed. Okay?
I'm also going to drop a link for my ebook, 6 Steps to 6 Figures. I'm going to drop it at the bottom in the comments. And think about it. What are y'all willing to give up to go up? Let's go.
That's it.
Let's go.
That's it.
Thank you, Passion, for having me on this podcast.
Absolutely.
Getting me out my little shell.
Yes.
I appreciate you.
Yes, I appreciate
love you, my
I love
sister.
you back.
And we're here. We're in Mexico. Let's go enjoy our time, girl.
Yes.
Back to the spot,
And all
right?
things be passionate.
Back to the
See
spot,
y'all later.
right?
We going back to the...
Hey.